Hey everyone, I just want to say thank you for 100 subscribers. I appreciate each one of you taking the time to watch and enjoy my videos. Also, only 1 in 30 people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you want to become a part of a minority, then smash the subscribe button. As the title suggests, this video will be covering the entire lore of my hidden Minecraft survival server, which I have spent a good 500 plus hours on. It is not as active as it was before. Now people join the server just about as often as my upload schedule. I also want to thank the people who helped make this video reality and the awesome members of the server. Anyways, enjoy the video.
Hello, my name is Eli Dunham. Today, I'm going to tell you a story. This story follows many different characters. The hero, the villain, the charming, the ugly, the cowardly, and the courageous are some of the qualities shared among these characters. The story I am telling you comes from a very old book I found in my grandfather's great-grandfather's library. The book is heavy and laden with imprints and intriguing designs. Let me blow off this dust. Alright, let's begin. The following record is a collection of texts all put together to complete the story of the Anna Unana's kingdom. Book 1, The Kingdom. The kingdom of Queen Anna Unana sat on a large plot of land. The edges of her kingdom had a deep valley that surrounded its entire perimeter. At the bottom of the cliff's edge, a small river rushed around the kingdom, providing it with a moat. Just across the river lay a mountain that also surrounded her kingdom. To put it simply, her kingdom looked like a circle, with its perimeter entrenched miles into the ground, with a river flowing through it. The queen, along with her kingdom, found this land suitable for living. She set her foot down on this mountain and claimed it as her own. The queen made sure her people would stick together and meet often. Many shops lay across a large portion of her kingdom, and many auctions were held with some trivial and valuable items to be sold. To quench discourse, the queen put together a court system, along with a jury to discuss matters that needed a group to find a solution. A prison was held to hold the troublemakers of this kingdom. Some townsfolk decided to bring positivity to this new land, with games and puzzles to keep the people active. It was a joyful and lively kingdom that had a very caring queen. It's no wonder that it prospered as it did. This chapter of the book is the most colorful of the bunch, etched with drawings of almost every character in the book. Let's see here. Chapter 1, The Leader. For a town to thrive, it needs a strong leader. This small town was fortunate enough to have one. This leader was skilled in every element known to this world. In mining, he could return with a wealth of diamonds. In reading, he could become a master of enchanting. Even in fighting, he could take on 4 men. One day, the leader and a few of his subordinates had to leave to settle a disagreement in a nearby town. In hopes of finding an agreement with the nearby town, other than war, the leader wished his community well and went on his way. The town now eagerly waits for their leader to return. As the days go on, the townsfolk are slowly making the town better than before to surprise their leader. One lesson that can be learned from this story is that in order for a town to prosper, it not only needs a good leader, but it also needs good people. Chapter 2, The Traveler. Some children are born with a desire to explore, some braver than others, but none are near as brave as our hero in this book. This young boy slowly expanded his perimeter of exploration at least as much as his mother would let him. Once the boy became a man, there was no stopping him from stepping further into the unknown. The man found many treasures and gifts along the way. Once the man was heavily burdened with rare resources from unknown worlds, he returned to share his wealth with his family back home. This wealth he got helped the town flourish and glow. The refurbished town caught the attention of nearby communities. Soon, the town was popular among the world, and the man's name also grew in popularity. This man now still adventures out to search even past the unknown. Only death will stop him from his adventures. Food is a necessity in mankind's life, In order to make it from one day to another, one needs food to supply their body with energy. One woman from a small town questioned why food couldn't also taste good. Chapter 3. The Cook. At a young age, this woman crafted recipes and discovered new meals at an alarming rate. Her creation could be smelled from miles around the town. The glow of her food brought warmth and thrill to her community. No food could match hers, even to this day. She began teaching others how to cook so she could continue on her lineage. She even began saying that anyone can cook, even the rats along the ground, as long as they are willing to learn. So, dear reader, are you ready to learn? Chapter 4. The Two Odd Piggies. There once were two pigs. One pig was very large, and one pig was super smelly. The pigs went in search for a steady supply of food and a warm place to sleep. The two pigs found their way to a humble little town. The two pigs decided to build their homes on the outskirts of town. The large pig dug its home into the ground, for the pig was so large that it could not go up, but could only go down. The other pig was so stinky that it caused others to keep their distance from it. This little pig built its house pointing towards the sky, so its stench could rise and not affect the townsfolk. Do not fret over these pigs, for they are happy as they can be, I think. Can pigs be happy? Chapter 5. The Entrepreneur. There once was a boy who grew up in a land of plenty. The boy saw opportunity and wealth in this land. As this boy became a man, his business grew and swelled. The land that once flourished watched in horror as a machine began rising from the ground on the horizon. This machine was perfectly optimized to be extremely efficient. Produce spewed out, and this machine had no stop. As the weeks went on, the land was dry and decrepit. The townspeople wondered what made the man want to make such a terrifying machine. They approached the man and asked him, "What have you gotten out of making such a monstrosity?" The man responded simply, "Joy." Chapter 6. The Horror. Every town has its odd occupants. Every community has that one member that can silence a whole room once they enter through the door. There is one member I speak of whom once lived here within this town's boundaries. Many wonder how he came to look the way he does. Some don't even know if it is a man. Some question if a fire caused his condition. His skin is black and coarse as though it had been dunked in ash. His face never changes, yet some say they may occasionally see a smile out of the corner of their eye. He keeps to himself during the day, but once the sun lies down on the carpet of grass he emerges. Many rarely see him walk, instead they simply see him standing still and staring. The darkness contorts his face, making it look like he is smiling. His lips stretched far beyond his cheeks as he stares deep into your soul. As you stare back, you feel as if you're being pulled in by a trance. Once you try to break free, you blink your eyes to bring yourself back, only to see he has vanished, only to return the next night. Chapter 7. The Leader's Fall and the Rancid Gremlin, Part 1. Every town has its gossip and conspiracy theories. One theory became known among many of the townsfolk. This theory became credible enough for a court hearing to take place. Where this story leads may surprise many of you, for a great leader in the town of Anna had committed mutiny. The courageous leader had used his skills and unlimited resources to exploit the townsfolk. Cameras and traps were used as surveillance and ways of terrorizing the town. The leader did not do all of this on his own, for another character was secretly a part of this story. Many referred to him as the Rancid Gremlin. He did not stay in one place long, but would do whatever anyone wanted for the right price. Seen as the leader had the most wealth, the Gremlin was often enchanted by him, so the Gremlin was most loyal to him. the gremlin set poison traps for some of the townsfolk to run into. Luckily, Queen Anna was wise enough and had skilled jurymen to find who was the mastermind of these crimes. Since the gremlin was diagnosed with a mental impairment, the queen had mercy on it and sent it on its way with some chicken and a firm scolding. The leader, on the other hand, knew better, since wealth and property mattered most to him. His punishment was to have his base vandalized. He then had to clean it all up on his own. Queen Anna had shown much mercy to him, and he soon did change his ways. Hopefully he will continue to pursue this new and better way of life, including the rancid gremlin. The Leader's Fall and the Rancid Gremlin Part 2, Redemption. The townsfolk began noticing something odd going on in the town of Anna. Everything they did seemed to move slower and slower over time. Quick and easy tasks took hours and then days. Time was slowing down. The townsfolk went to the queen and the wise men of the town for answers. The queen sent out explorers to far-off lands for answers. One explorer found himself in a new area. As he marched on, he began to notice man-made structures. After exploring these structures, he found the rancid gremlin. Initially repulsed by it, he soon found it had become likable. The two continued their journey together to find what had caused the curse to fall on the town of Anna. After days of walking, they soon found what had caused the commotion. Inching nearer towards the structure, only time became slower. Nearby, they saw a figure pacing back and forth in a grumbling manner. The two hurried toward the figure as best as they could with the time warp. After asking why the woman had been doing this, they discovered she was trying to find a rare axolotl. A blue axolotl was almost impossible to find, but under rare circumstances it could be found. She insisted that she would not stop the curse of the time warp until it was found. The gremlin and the explorer began searching with her in hopes of finding one. To the explorer's surprise, the gremlin came up with an intriguing plan. With a little bit of theft and a little bit of blue paint, the two had made a blue axolotl. They presented the axolotl to the woman with their best acting skills and lies. The woman danced with glee at this. She took the gift and honored her promise. The other axolotls were removed and the curse was broken. The townsfolk cheered at the freedom they now had returned to them. The explorer was recognized as a hero, and the gremlin had his honor returned to him. It seems redemption isn't as impossible as many once thought it was. A gremlin became a member, and a lost leader had returned. Chapter 9. The Daredevil. There once was a little girl who knew no fear. Even when warned by the townsfolk, she ran towards danger without looking back. She was the first to fly into a wall. She was the first to build homes with unique designs. She was the first to jump into a giant hole. She was the first to hug a creeper. Although she endured many injuries, she never let them slow her down. She still remains the first in many things. Let's just say she helped the town realize what they shouldn't be doing. This is a new portion of the book, as if it was written by a different author. It's laden with different designs, dwarvish even. Let's see here. Book 3, The Hidden Kingdom. While this story focuses on one kingdom, there's also a hidden kingdom that lay deep below the queens. This kingdom was called Moria. Let's begin with the third book. Chapter 1, The Architect and Moria's Beginnings. In dark times, we often see humanity at its strongest. When your town is constantly swarmed, you are forced to build walls. When your walls are crushed by stone, you are forced to craft iron walls. Architects and builders were in high supply in these dark times. One man stood above many due to his reputation in building formidable fortresses. When the darkness was at its strongest, the people were forced to find refuge in the mountains and in caves. The great architect gathered other builders to create a fortress below the trees. This fortress was so great it is still standing to this day. Some say the torches are even still lit. This fortress outlasted the bombardment of the darkness. Soon, light once again shone through the gates as the outside environment was now once again safe. Chapter 2. The Keep Builder and the Meeting of the Two Kingdoms. In the town of Anna, there were many crafters and builders. One builder was given the task to set up the defenses in case the town of Anna were ever put under siege. He began preparations by making a keep facing the north side of the town. If the town were ever attacked, its inhabitants could flee to the fortress's safety. As he began constructing the keep, the townspeople began noticing the side of a mountain beside them was cracking open. Dwarves pushed themselves through under the ground like foxes surfacing from their burrows. The townsfolk quickly rushed to their keep in fear that the dwarves may be hostile. After a careful and cautious approach from the queen, a friendly conversation arose between the two kingdoms. Queen Anna discovered the dwarves had been hiding underground for quite some time due to a war that had occurred a few decades before Anna's kingdom had settled in. The two kingdoms began trading and exchanging tales with one another, creating a friendship that would last ages. Chapter 3. Morias' Growth. Years had passed since the realm of Moria was hidden underground. Now, the survival of the dwarves hidden underground was simply in songs and books. Moria had begun not only digging deeper into the mountain, but also spread its wings into the sky. Outer defenses were underway, and massive towers were placed pointing towards the sky so that the dwarves could see future armies like the great armies in their past. Now that the dwarves were not at war, they could focus on more of their decorative and crafty ways. A throne room was finally built. The king simply rested alongside its people. Moria's builders crafted some hidden and common passages to the surface. While their main living quarters were underground, the battle-ready walls were on the surface, scraping the sky to intimidate and ward off any future adversaries. The might of Moria could no longer be quenched. Builders and miners also cracked through the rock, deeper into the mountain. They began building machines that mined mountains of stone through beams of energy. Moria grew in such great size that it needed two kings to run it. One king ran the upper kingdom, and the other the lower kingdom. While they ruled different locations, they also focused on separate tasks. The upper kingdom focused on the townspeople and the outer defenses, while the king of the underground focused on expansion and mining. Both often meet to compare their work and get advice from one another. If a time ever came again where the foes of old return, both kings will be ready to defend their keep. Book 4. There are no chapters in this book, for this book is small. The writer's handwriting looks as if it was written in grief. The book feels as if joy had been sucked right from its pages. I will do my best, but I feel this will be a very hard book to read. The Great Snap. This is the recorded history of the town of Anna. Date: August 21st, 2022. Time: forgotten. If you're wondering why the town of Anna is now barren, this is the reason. The town of Anna had grown exponentially in its wealth and technology. The townspeople made the hardest armor and weapons known in this world. The people grew to such great power that they decided to take on the king of this world, the Ender Dragon. This was a challenging task, but the people trusted their leader and their technology. They gathered their supplies and geared up for war. They traveled to the portal, slaying everything in their path. Little could stop them. Once they entered the end portal, they split up and began unleashing a volley of arrows. After a short while, the dragon finally fell, making him the kings of this world. They began raiding this new world and taking everything for themselves. the fauna was found to be quite difficult to deal with. This new biome made each member realize that they could calculate each of their steps and had to be careful about it. One member of this kingdom found a great book. This book contained spells and magic that was far too powerful for a man to be knowledgeable of. This man knew little of what he had covered. With good intentions, this man, through this spell, would only kill the fauna in this new biome. This man did not realize that this spell was made to kill all living things. Unfortunately, this spell was cast, and all within the blink of an eye, a once great kingdom fell. Every one of the members of this group's stories immediately ended. Nothing was left to retrieve, other than backpacks and belongings. This was the end of the town of Anna. It was an honor reading this book to you. I remember when my father read this book to me. I wish you, wait a second. What is this? There are a few extra pages written in this book. Let me see. I, Sir Skull, am the one who recovered these texts. I have placed them all into one book to respect and prolong the stories of my friends. Well, this is interesting. I figured it would be best if I had the author of this text read it himself. Great-grandfather, would you read this text for me?
Why, of course, Eli. What is it you want me to... Oh, I remember this. Well, let's begin, shall we? I was originally a member of the kingdom ran under the Queen Anna Unana. I was a brave and strong warrior, and one of the most loyal to the Queen. As the Queen grew in power, and her people grew in number, I began seeing a change in the Queen. Her power turned her to greed and bitterness. I tried to warn the Queen, but she would not listen. I could see her greed ruining everything she had built, so I tried to slow her down by putting roadblocks in her path. It soon grew to be too risky to stick around, so I left. I started my own kingdom with no one but myself to keep me company. I continued to live like this until I grew much older. I traveled back to the kingdom to see what it had become. My curiosity and heart had grown too sick for me to stay away any longer. When I approached the town, the once-filled streets were empty. No one was around, not even a mouse. I traveled deep into Moria expecting to find an army of dwarves, but there was nothing. I eventually found my way to the dimension known as the End. When I explored there for a few weeks, I finally came up and upon what I most feared. There was nothing but belongings and backpacks that belonged to the ones I once called my friends. Oh, I discovered the book that caused the disaster. I burned the book so that it would never be used again. I miss them dearly, and I wish they were here. To honor them, I made sure I recovered all of their stories so that others might hear them and appreciate it. Reader, value your life and your friends, for you do not know when it will all fade.